Yeah, everyone doesn't want to run a 6-figure company. Everyone doesn't want to run a 7, 8-figure company, have 40 employees. They do all of this different stuff. So you kind of need to find where you are. When you're working with people, are there questions that you ask them to kind of help you understand what their goals are? Because if you coach them to run a 40-person company, then it's going to be missing the mark, right?
Yeah. And so, I mean, it really comes down to, so again, when we hit this golden line with our tag members, the biggest question is we basically almost go back to the beginning a little bit, where we're asking the why questions, we're asking the goal questions. And a lot of the times, what we see happen is, again, and so these are typically, 5 to 7 year wedding pros, completely generally speaking, but they're probably not wanting to work every weekend. They're probably not wanting to take a pay cut. So, do I raise my rates into infinity, or like, what do I do? So it really comes down to, oftentimes, the vision people have behind their why. There is some level of bringing on a team, because again, they don't want to work every weekend. Maybe they want to work 5 weekends a year and they want to make $150,000, where, well, that's the luxury, ultra luxury market, depending upon what vendor type you are. And if your business is moving that way, great. But if you think of the wedding, couples getting married pool, ultra luxury is a slim percentage of that. So you have to be very fantastic to do that and to stand out. So sometimes, honestly, the more simple way is to bring on team members to still make those profitabilities. Now, that's to say, like, that doesn't mean magically there's not any work for you to do, because you do, like, onboarding team is a different kind of work. Now, if you don't want to work weekends, don't want to work nights, it's great, because you can do all of that during the day. So that's what I hear a lot, is like, I've been doing this a while. I really would like to take some weekends off. Like, I don't want to be working all the time. I still want to make the money that I want to work. And that's kind of where we get into, like, okay, well, you can raise your rights to a certain place. And then do we look at building a team? So that's kind of the big thing. That's usually like a light bulb goes off in my head of, like, if I don't want to work every single weekend anymore, that's usually like, hey, let's talk about scaling, and what does that look like?
Got it. So then, as you work with these folks about scaling and you're helping these small business owners grow a team, what role do you think that, culture, core values, and then ultimately, like, the business owner really pushing maybe mental health, or just acknowledging that mental health is an extremely important part? How much do you see that playing a role?
Yeah, well, I think uniquely too in the wedding industry, I think it's important always. But I think in the wedding industry, there's another layer of importance, because our jobs are demanding in a different way. They're emotionally demanding a lot of the time. And I'm talking about a little bit from a planner angle, but photographers see this, videographers, bridal dress stores, like all of these things, like, they still see the emotional impact that planning a wedding has. And you have to deal with all of that. So I think uniquely the wedding world, it's even more important. But I also think, for my organization, for example, we run fast. We run very fast. We grow quickly. We say yes to a lot of things. Like, we are just running a lot of the time. And we need to be careful of burnout. We have to be careful of that feeling. And especially if you're in a hyper emotional industry and you're running really fast, that can really set yourself up for needing to make sure that and everybody has different levels of burnout. They have different capacities. That's really important to learn. Like, what's your capacity? We have some people on our staff that like a 40-hour work week, and that is it. We have other girls on our work week that are like cool at 90, and that they're loving life. It's just totally different. So I think for everybody in the industry, just knowing that we have just a more emotional industry, we tend to have to run pretty darn quickly, because we're always prospecting. We're always, like, literally at events. We're in sales mode. We're dealing with COVID, like all of the things. And so I think that self-care is just, and knowing your limits is so important, because it allows you to actually be a better business owner when you have that, balance isn't the best word, but you have that awareness in your life.
Is there a point that there is too much self-care?
Oh, that's a good question.